Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
It is picked off by the line. Darius Slay's got it. Coming back right side, 25. Picks up a block at the 30. Darius at the 40.
Drink it in, drink it in. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Rolls to the right. Stafford throws deep. Got a man out there. End zone. Caught. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Stafford!
Drink it in, drink it in.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread.
Stafford! Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid, what's going on, everybody? Normally I say it's Wednesday, we're in the house. Me and Griff are actually recording a little bit early today, so if news breaks or some things come up, we are just recording a bit earlier than we normally would, but we're here to talk about Tampa Bay. We've also got some news and notes and some things going on that I'm going to throw at Grifka, as well as all types of other good things here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. One of those good things, sometimes, the one and only, Grifka, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, man, nothing much, man. Like you said, just it's getting around Christmas time, so I know our schedules are getting a little hectic. So, like you said, if something breaks, we don't know about it. We're sorry, people.
Oh man, I gotta get the Grifka bell going for the like you said. I didn't even have it at my disposal, but there's one for you right off the top. Grifka, let's get into this right now. You got to help me with this guy's first name, because he basically came off the scrap heap. We've had him on the practice squad. He shows up on Saturday on the active roster. He starts the game, which just shows you how freaking terrible our offensive weapons are, as people like to say at this point. I got Hills as the last name. Do you have the first name, Grifka? Because I can't remember.
Is it Wes?
I think it is. I want to say, what was it, Peyton Hillis back in his day or something like that. But yeah, Wes Hills shows up, start the game for the Detroit Lions, runs hard a little bit, falls in the end zone for 2 touchdowns. A million, potpourri pieces about this guy's dream. I mean, I felt good for him. He seemed like he had a great head on his shoulders. He's all about the team after the game. But what'd you think about Wes Hills, Grifka, scoring 2 touchdowns, kind of getting us back in this football game? You think he's got anything, just as you like to say, I don't know, camp body or tackling dummy, whatever you usually call these guys?
Yeah, at this point, I was more like, what happened to Ty Johnson? Either this guy's not picking up
your boy,
or he's
your guy.
I'm disappointed. This was just like, why this guy just came off the street, man. I'm sure he was just working at the Starbucks, and Pat walked in and he gave his name Matt, and he wrote it on there, and Pat looked at us like, hey, you play running back, right? We need one. And they signed him, and he's starting. So
West Hills was at the Starbucks. He went at the bowling alley. The bowling alley's full. Pettigrew's doing well over there.
No, the bowling alley is only left for tight ends, because you got to carry those 16-pound balls all over the place. So make sure they
try to carry them. We've known they've been known to slip through the fingers and fall on a toe.
Yeah, after they put them in the Shino ball, obviously that's the excuse they use. But yeah, so obviously,
Rivka, go ahead. I got one thing for your boy Ty Johnson, real quick. Ty Johnson.
What the hell are you doing?
This guy, you talked him up. I actually got on board because I just felt like he looks the part in the jersey. They say he's fast as hell. This guy hasn't made a play all season. He'll get screens where you think he's going to go somewhere. Nothing. He comes to the line, tripped by his shoelaces. There's been games where I'm like, this is the game Ty Johnson's going to come on the scene. He's going to blow up. He's going to be the guy. And somebody brought up the point of Ty Johnson is a drafted player. He's been here all year. He's made a few plays in preseason. And every time somebody comes off the scrap heap or the local from the local coffee factory, they pass Ty Johnson right by. I mean, they end up starting and playing all these snaps, and Ty Johnson's out there for his 4 plays a game. I don't know what the heck's going on with this guy. I mean, I still think I like what I see in a jersey as athleticism, but on the field on Sundays, nothing.
Yeah, like I said, I don't get it myself, and I'm scratching my head. I'm like, if it's one of those things, you almost want to ask him. And like, and if Pat's like, well, we have a certain package of plays for Ty Johnson. Like, you mean besides the playbook? I mean, come on. It's like you said, it's like, who is this guy? He just comes out of nowhere and like, oh yeah, you're the number one guy. You're gonna start against Tampa Bay. Okay, I mean, that's like, wow, this is the golden ticket, I mean, come on.
Oh, I wish I had that. I got to get that on the soundboard. I got a golden ticket. Uncle, what was the uncle's name? The lazy ass that just sat around, and then when they got the golden ticket, he bounced out of bed and started dancing. Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, Grandpa Joe.
Grandpa Joe, what a lazy a-hole. And then all of a sudden they go to the chocolate factory and he bounced out of bed walking, doesn't need his cane anymore. Gosh, what a piece of crap that guy was.
Yeah, what is that all about? When you're letting the parents take care of the grandparents and one of them can walk, it's like, dude, man, you can go be a greeter somewhere. It's like, bring something in, clean some tables at McDonald's or something. No, man, I'm just going to lay in this bed all day. 4 wide.
all like, woe is me, and all of a sudden, I got a golden ticket. Like, you don't have nothing, Grandpa. Sit down. And Hughes, Grifka, like, is this happening with you and Ty Johnson and your love for Ty Johnson? Is he doing this to you?
It drives me freaking bonkers.
I mean, you got to be to that point with this guy where every time you look at him, you're just like,
it drives me freaking bonkers. All I can think is this dude has to be a meathead and just can't pick it up. I mean, it's just, what are you missing here? Like you said, you're passing guys. I mean, they're bringing back Joik Bell, who's like working, the security, as we're like, hey, take your hat off, take your jacket off, clean out your pockets, you're clean, I have to go suit up. Something like that. Just, come on.
Speaking of Joik Bell, since you mentioned him, I think it was 2 weeks ago during the game. It's a definite bit by Tom Brenneman where he made a point. He went out of his way to bring up Matt Stafford and Clayton Kershaw for no reason. Like, I think it was when he was with Spielman. Like, it was just like the bingo board they have up there for the announcers, or he just thought it'd be funny because there was no reason to do it. He just mentioned it, and he did his stupid laugh, and they kept moving. It was crazy.
Yeah. It's like,
but hey, another fun fact: Joik Bell, used to be security for the Detroit Lions. Didn't know if you knew that.
I didn't know. I thought he still was. I mean, he left. It's like he went back instead of going to like the unemployment line. He just went up to like Martha and it's like, hey, is my spot still open? Yeah, go ahead. So,
Grifka, I'm hoping this enhances the show, but I forgot I did it till just now. I made a few shortcuts, a few new gadgets I have over this way where it's much easier, I think, moving forward for me to get to the bell. So for the people out there, all the little, previous episodes, oh, you're right, the, hey, I know you've mentioned this before that I normally miss because I can't get to it quick enough. Yeah, I got it right here on the trigger now, Grifka. Just letting you know. So Hills, like, to me, a real quick take on Hills, getting back to him, like, again, I like that he was able to get it in short, and it's not like he broke any big runs or did anything big. There was a little bit of buzz about this guy just as a depth player, but to me, these are just late season stories. They come in, they do a little something, people write a few articles, Dabercat, to try to like make it sound great and be grandiose, but like, I can't see him being on the football team or making a huge impact moving forward. So
yeah, he's not making me forget Kerryon Johnson.
No, not at all. I'm sure we'll talk about him either on this episode or next, see if he comes back and does some things. Grifka, I want to do something a little fun before we get into this Tampa Bay review. As you've mentioned multiple times on the show, it's Christmas time, so I thought we'd do a little Christmas gimmick for you since you pulled this on me a week ago. Grifka, we need the Grifka Lions Christmas list. I'm going to give you 5 things. You've got your sheet of paper, your crayon, whatever you used to, I don't know, you probably still hand this off to the parents or, tell your kids what they should buy you on your Christmas list. But what the heck does Grifka want?
I put it. Whenever I go to the post office, I'm like, I stamp them like, hey, North Pole, right? And they're like, yes, Mr. Grifka. I'm like, cool, thank you.
Child, please.
Please.
Grifka, like, you got 5 things you can write on your list. Hand it off to the big man in the red suit with the odd beard and the funky glasses. Like, what's going to be on your Lions Christmas list? Could be a player, could be a future player, it could be just some grandiose thing you've wanted for years and years. Like, work your way through this for the people, and I'll help you if I need to.
You mean as it pertains to our beloved Detroit Lions?
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Nobody cares about the cold sweater that you want.
Well, the number one thing would be obviously a weak side linebacker with speed and who can cover somebody coming out of the backfield.
We got Jared Davis already.
Yeah, he's really good in the middle there. So somebody on the weak side. So we'll use him. That would be my number one thing. My number two would be another edge rusher opposite Trey Flowers. It's one of those things like they run more like a three-man front, or we're gonna use like drop down our linebacker like Kennard, because Kennard he's put up some stats, but still he's a little slow of foot. I'd rather have somebody a little faster. So another edge rusher, to help take some of the pressure off Trey Flowers, because everybody's got high expectations for him, including me. And he's obviously not Reggie White or Lawrence Taylor or anything like that. So that would be my number two.
He's been good.
Yeah, he's done. I don't want to say well of late, but he's definitely improved. I particularly like.
You can't give the guy credit. He's got like 6 sacks in 7 games or something. And you're still want to say he's not that.
He's not that great. There you go. I give it to you.
I think you're great, Trey Flowers.
Yeah, Trey, if you're listening, there you go. Appreciate it. My third one would be a left tackle. Somebody better than Taylor Decker, obviously. I mean, right there, left tackle. Somebody, fine. I know PFF rates him, for like 3 minutes of a game as the number one tackle in the game, but no way. It's like I'm looking for a left tackle, somebody along the lines. Get ready for the bell. I'm talking Jackie Slater. I'm talking Anthony Munoz. I'm talking Art Shell. I'm talking Joe Thomas. I'm talking a tackle on the lines like that. I mean, somebody's just like, you can run behind, like one of those surefire Hall of Famers. That's what I would really love. So that would be number 3.
Hey, Griff, hold on. Before you get to 4, Taylor Decker just wants to talk with you for a minute. Wait for it. And then choke slam, obviously.
Okay, man. I'll just bull rush him and go right around him like Shaquille
I was hoping
did
you'd say
yesterday.
that.
Like Shaquille did yesterday. There's one you put him on
not
skates. Good. Number 4. Could you just get a healthy running game? A healthy running game, right there. I mean, self-explanatory.
Exactly.
Just a healthy running game. And number 5 would just be, please. How about a home playoff victory? I would love to see one of those. I know that's really far-fetched. That's pie in the sky. It's asking, it's like I'm hoping I wake up Christmas morning and seeing like a freaking Porsche or like, a Ferrari in my driveway. It's like that far-fetched, as of right now. But, maybe someday I'll have that Ferrari sit in my driveway. But as of right now, a home playoff victory would be number 5.
It's not a bad list, Grifka. So, hey, Santa.
Help me! Help me!
We need some of these things Grifka said. Now, real quick, I'm not going to go down the list. We had some fun with some of that. Grifka, one thing I did, I was hoping I could make this a mini segment, but I'll just quickly bring it up. So I never play video games, but I did kick your ass in Madden 20. I don't think I barely played it since I beat you. But I fired it up the other day because I was so frustrated with this football team. And I literally went into franchise mode. I put Jared Davis on the outside. I put Devy in the middle. I got all my guys up there that I like. Will Harris and Walker were starting. I've got Hawk there, not only as my tight end, but almost as my slot guy rolling out there. And again, I suck at the game. So basically I just played these things called moments where every once in a while during the game, they'll say hey, it's 3rd and short. You got to come up with a stop. And it lets me play. And oh my gosh, Grifka, I was just rolling. Every time they give me the football, I'm just featuring Hawkinson all day. I'm coming with Jared Davis off the edge on blitzes, getting to the quarterback. Trey Flowers getting after people. 11-1, Grifka. My only stumble so far in my season is against the Kansas City Chiefs. So as much as you bag on Jared Davis and these people, and as much as we support the GM and the coach, all you gotta do is put these pieces in the right spot and let them do what they do. I'm finding Hawkinson up the seam all day, no problem. I'm throwing the ball up to Kenny, just coming down with it all day. So it's really not that difficult, I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised Martha hasn't called you up yet. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? Derek, come coach our team. You can be the GM
Exactly.
as well.
My phone's available, or you can reach me at 989-272-3484. Or fancy sunglasses, and we can have a sit-down chat. That'd be great. But yeah, man, that's a good list by you. Kind of fun to do that off the top. One more thing before we get into this game, Grifka. This is something that jumped out at me the last few games, and I just need you to either tell me, do you have a theory on this? Am I missing something? Like, I'm watching these football games, and I'm sure we'll talk about it during the game too. The Detroit Lions are trying to play the rush 3, drop 8. My problem is when they drop 8, they're just dropping into these random areas of the field where you can tell the players are like they're awkwardly in like a spot where they're supposed to be, but they got their head on a swivel. People are running past them. They're standing right next to them. A lot of times, unfortunately, they're right behind them, and these guys don't even know. Like, it's like they can't move off their spot or their area and actually guard, I don't know, opponents on the other team. Like, are you seeing this as well, where it's just obnoxious? Like, it'll be 3rd and 7, and that like 2 of our linebackers are just guarding this empty area of the football field, and a guy runs right in between them, stops, turns around, catches a ball, and they move the sticks. It's like, hey, one of you guys might have wanted to vacate your empty space and go get that player before he gets the football right in front of you. Like, it's driving me nuts. Like, I understand zone defense. I know what the coaches are probably telling them to do. But these guys, as I said on Twitter, either don't understand, aren't fast enough, or there's something else going on, because it's the most obnoxious zone defense I've ever seen. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know, like, with defenses, like a zone, you're supposed to cover, like, a certain area, like what you cover this, 5 to 10 yard square or something like that, and that kind of works that way. And it's almost like, like you said, there's a point where like a tight end or a running back will come out of the backfield and they'll sit between 2 linebackers, and it's like they're almost thinking, okay, you got him, I'm going to hold my spot. You had him, right? Because afterwards something happens, they're always like pointing at each other. And it kind of happens in our defensive backfield as well, where we've seen somebody like get burned on a touchdown. It's like, oh, I thought you were picking him up. Oh, I thought you were picking him up. And they'll like stand there and they'll point at each other. And so, I like you said, I don't think they're getting it, like how they should. And I know it reverts back to your discussion of, it's not always the coaching. Sometimes it's the players not doing what they should be doing. But then you always hear those stories. It's just, oh, you're supposed to be playing this defense, but then you went rogue and did whatever you wanted to. Oh, you mean he had an interception, or he made a tackle short of the sticks, as opposed to just letting them catch it and turn up field. So
right, or the opposite. Like, you can go rogue and sort of not be in the little square space that you should be in, and that could cost you as well, or not drop when you're supposed to, or be in the wrong gap. But my issue is just like the part of the zone is like, yeah, you have this area to cover, but I guarantee you the coaches are teaching them, okay, you got this space, but if like a tight end runs right in front of your face, you have to pick them up to a certain point where then you pass them off to the next guy. It's not stand there, have a player right to your right, have a defender right to his left, and both of you just let him catch the football. And then, like you said, point at each other, look confused, act like, well, I had my space covered. But you didn't cover the football player who just moved the sticks or scored a touchdown, or like, I was just going nuts about it. I was just like, I don't see this any other time I watch football. It's like random guys just standing in a space saying, well, I got this, don't worry, I got this turf covered. And there's a player right to their left wide open. It's just like ridiculous. So, like I say, we no reason to talk about it, but I'm sure others are seeing that as well. And it's like, yeah, you can point at this, that, and the other, but I know coaches aren't coaching, hey, stand there and don't guard these people when they run past, in front, or behind you. So speaking of, let's take a quick break, Grifko, and we talk about this Tampa Bay game. Okay. It'll be a fun one, I swear.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we'll be right back. Grifka, we're back, and we got to talk about another loss by our Detroit Lions, Tampa Bay. These guys come in, I was expecting kind of a decent, fun shootout. I was expecting, David Blau to have a decent football game. I mean, we're just going to hit on the high points here, but right from the get-go, I mean, Jameis Winston just throwing the ball up over the top. I mean, this first touchdown, 34-yarder to Perriman, not the Lions' Perriman, of course, his son, I believe it is. This was embarrassing. Like, Rashawn Melvin was beat by gosh, it had to be. I'm pretty sure it was Melvin on this first one. It was a 6-yard cushion where he couldn't catch up. I mean, you do not see that on any other Sunday. It was an absolute embarrassment.
Yeah, it was a double move, but still, even like the first move wasn't that great a fake, and Melvin just bid on that thing totally, and Perriman just ran right by him, just like his dad used to when he was on the team.
Grifka. It wasn't that.
No, it wasn't that great.
You got to work on your. It's not that great. There's T-shirts out there. People are asking for it on Twitter. Now you're just. But you got to give it the vigor you used to have with it, where it was like, he's not that great. Like that's what the people are looking for. Okay. And you got to sell it. You got to sell the front part where you go, he's not that great. That's how it needs to be done. So work on that. Would you go get some reps on the it's not that great and come back better next week, please?
Okay.
But yeah, this was terrible. And then sure enough, Scotty Miller, just an absolute NFL stud, Grifka. I mean, I'm sure he's got his application out on Indeed, hoping that he can pick up work at the Starbucks or the bowling alley once this season is over. Yeah, he goes for a 33-yard unguarded touchdown up over the top. I believe this was on my guy AO. Do I have that right?
Yeah, but I don't know if he ran through the zone or if it was like AO dropped him off, because he went in right behind Will Harris, and Will Harris saw him a little late and he tried to like jump up and make a play. But at that point, Jameis actually he's been, like I said, throwing the ball around like it's backyard football, and made a decent pass. The guy was wide open. So I don't know if this goes back to kind of like what we were talking about, where guys are like, I'm standing here. Well, you can't let a wide receiver behind you if you're the safety. It's like, okay, the only thing behind me is the end zone, so we're good. Come on.
Well, I think, again, I don't want to go on a rant. He's actually the guy I've stood up for, but I think it was another play where Harris got roasted. And then at the end of the game, we get to a play where my boy Tracy Walker got roasted. I mean, there's plenty to go around, but I think, regardless of who should have been where and what, like, AO was the closest guy, but not very close to the all-pro named Scotty Miller. That was another embarrassing touchdown. Looked like 7-on-7 drills for good old Jameis. 14 zip before you could blink there in the first quarter. Another 25-yard TD to Perriman again. 21 zip. I mean, 21-3 heading into half. I mean, this was just an absolute ugly first half. I want to say somebody put out there like the stats in that first half were like, Tampa Bay had like over 300 yards of offense and we had 2 yards, I mean, are you kidding me with that? Is that real?
Yeah, it was real, because I think after one quarter we had a total of -1 yard. So that was a highly potent offense that we had going there. I mean, you can't blame them. I know I've said it before, and people get tape on people, and they kind of adjust, and it's to the point now where Blau is, he's really looking like that rookie quarterback that hasn't had a whole lot of game reps. And Tampa Bay, I'm not quite for sure. I can't remember who's the defense coordinator there in Tampa Bay, but I mean, he was bringing pressure all over the place, and as we saw, Shaquille to put Taylor on skates a couple plays, and I just. I don't know. Like you said, it's hard to say, like, if the guys are out there just like, let's just not get hurt, I mean, at this point.
Oh, don't go to that bit again, Grifka, please. But you're not sticking up for your boy Blau now? You loved this guy like 2 weeks ago. You're just like, oh, man, I see a lot in this guy. Like, it's just rookie. He's got a couple rookie jitters. Like, he sure did not look very good across the board in this game. But then he starts to come back, and in the second half, make a couple plays. Next thing you know, the score is pretty close. I start rooting for the victory again, I got to say. So it was one of those ball games, like get beat up bad, everybody quits, come back, get everybody's hopes up, again. I got it here. It was 24-17 starting kind of the fourth quarter. Wes Hills plows in for his second touchdown. We end up getting a stop, getting the football back, and then, like I say, we're just fast forwarding through this, Grifka. Sean Murphy Bunting, one of the Big Hughes' favorite players, was asking me last draft, hey, Oakley, what do you think about this corner out of Central Michigan? I said, Central Michigan? I don't want that bum.
Child, please.
Please.
And I knew he was somewhat highly rated, but I'm like, no, thank you. The guy ends up going in the second or third round, and he makes a play against the Lions. Not even a play, a pick six, a 70-yard pick six on an absolute I mean, telegraphed out route. I mean, come on, David Blau. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that wasn't a very good read. It's not that great. That was
David Blau after the throw.
It was a bad decision. Period. Point blank. It was one of the dumbest decisions I ever made.
Yeah, it was David Blau. Like, what the hell are you? What are you doing? We even got sound bits for that.
What the hell are you doing?
Oh my gosh. So I don't know, man. I mean, we get that. Once that happened, everybody headed for the exits. Sure enough, they decide, oh no, that's not good enough. We're going to throw another 25-yard tutty to Perriman's son right over the top of Tracy. Like, let me go on my mini rant before we finish up this episode, Grifka. I sat here week after week and backed up Will Harris and Tracy Walker. Tracy Walker, I called him a dog, Grifka. He's got dog tendencies. This guy talks it. He's got the long arms. He's got the athleticism. He's been beat too many dang times. I mean, he makes tackles. He comes up and guards you. He likes to get on the line, get after tight ends. Too many times people are getting behind this guy or catching the ball right in front of this guy. Come on, Tracy. Like, I haven't seen that length happen at all. I even put him in a fantasy league where they have defenders because I'm like, man, this guy's getting his hands on a football in this game against James Winston. I thought for sure he's either going to tip a ball or pick one off or create a fumble, do something. I mean, all I saw was people running behind him, scoring touchdowns. And then my guy, Will Harris, like, I haven't given up on this guy as a player, but Grifka, he's been out there since, like, the day they traded Diggs on a consistent basis. And all we've seen is, oh, man, Will Harris is 2 steps behind. Oh, Will Harris was close, but the guy caught it right up over the top of him. Well, there's another touchdown on Will Harris. Oh, Will Harris missed a tackle. Like, I can't name you like really a very good play by this guy. I mean, if he's making plays, it's in the back distance because I can't remember one time where I was like, hell yeah, Will Harris, well, that's a play, big fella. Like, it's been very few and far between, and like Tracy's way too dang long and athletic to not be showing up more than he does recently, other than some tackles here or there. So I'm, as you can tell, frustrated with their safeties and feel like I'll defend these guys and I still like them as football players and think they have decent upside, but I've hit my, point of like, you got to make some plays for me to continue to bang the table for you. I mean, make plays and mess up and I'll fight for you, but continually just getting burnt or getting taken and it's hard, man. It's like, I got to see something. I'm not seeing any, especially from Harris. Okay,
I'm hoping that's just kind of like rookie scene stuff, getting your feet wet type thing, because the only team that Will Harris is really going to face that has the type of speed in college that he has to face in the pros is really Clemson. I mean, everybody else in that conference is freaking terrible. So, I think he's just got to. I'm hoping it's just get up to speed, actually see the stuff, and next year he'll make a tremendous leap. I'm not going to say he's turning into Ronnie Lott or anything like that, but hopefully he does improve, because you're right. There are points where he just kind of looks standing out there. His head's on a swivel, but he's always like looking the wrong way, and the guy runs by him. It's almost kind of like very Bugs Bunny cartoonish. Like boom, he scampered right by the guy. So
Serenity now! Serenity now! Serenity now!
That's some audio from me on Sundays, Griff, for this whole dang season. I don't know. I've just got to the point where like, let me just throw this one at you before we get to our Friday show. Like, so we've had our arguments in the past about draft pick versus wins. I got you all hyped up, and I was like, Grifka, like, I feel like this is a win. I feel like we're going to show up offensively. I feel like Tampa Bay was due for a dip down, based on the numbers and stats they've been putting up. It obviously didn't happen. I'm totally in my mode, now just like, instead of just winning to feel good, like I want this pick to go from 5 to 3 or 2. I'm scoreboard watching. I want the Giants to win, the Redskins to win, Miami to win, whoever else is up around our pick, like whatever it takes for Lions to creep up any little pick they can get to either get Chase or get a nasty defender or some other scenarios, which we'll get to at another point. But are you there with me at this point? Because we've had the argument before, or are you just like wanting this Dubsky in Denver when we talk about it on Friday because it's going to make you feel good? Because I I cannot wait for the season almost to be over because I can't believe how tough it's been.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. If they lose out, I'm okay. I mean, like I said, I always want them to win, but I know we had talked about this before, where like, oh, what would we be interested in? What type of player would we want? And it's one of those things like, I would really like, like I said, that rush linebacker. But it seems like even if they go up, to like 3 or 4, there doesn't seem to be a rush linebacker that's worth 3 or 4 right now. It's almost be like a reach at that point for like where guys are on the board. So you'd almost be looking at another area that's like, I mean, I know there's a few tackles that are rated high, a few cornerbacks, safety, and it's stuff that we could use. But it seems like either the rush guys, there's like Chase Young, then like nobody else. Until you
no, Grifka.
No, but you know what I mean.
No, I don't. I'm about ready to yell at you for 20 minutes because we had this last year where you talked about a drop-off rate at 7 and all this bull crap. Grifka, there's probably 20 really good football players that you could take at anywhere from 3 to 30. Like, there's plenty of good players that would fit this team.
No, what I'm trying to say though is like everybody's like, choke was it choke for Chase? Like, oh gosh, come on, we got to get Chase Young ain't gonna be there like at 4, which he probably won't be. So what I'm saying is that's not what I'm saying. There's not guys worth it, but it seems like it's at the point now it's like almost all or nothing with Lions fans. If you don't get Chase Young, then like, why even bother drafting? That's what it seems like you're reading. I'm reading that from other fans right now. So yeah, lose out. I can't see the Lions jumping that many teams to get up to number 2 because there are some bad teams out there, as well. So yeah, go ahead and lose out. But if they win, it's going to be like, oh God, they fell down to 8th. Yeah, okay, I could live with that too. It's not like if they win, they're going to go to 22nd. Okay, that's not going to happen. So,
okay, but here, real quick, half draft argument. So I'm with you on that last point that yeah, a win would only mean dropping a few spots. It's not the end of the world, even though Lions fan, especially SOL Lions fan, which you've been known to be sometimes, Grifka, is going to be like, oh, we can't even lose right. You're going to hear that garbage. But the point is that if we're this dang close, if we're at 5 now, and if a couple scenarios can happen, a couple of these teams in front of us are playing each other. If there's a chance to go from 5 to 2 or even 5 to 3, knowing that quarterbacks get pushed up, like and having a more realistic chance at Chase Young, he's obviously the ideal player. But there's a lot of other good players that I also think can not only impact the defense, but there's some, I know nobody wants those skill players, but there's some of those. So you're trying to creep up so that you can get that extra premier talent. Every time you creep up, it's a guy that you could get now that you couldn't a day ago. So that's the point. And the other point is that, like, your whole thing of wanting this amazing off-ball linebacker rush player, like, there's 7 rounds, Grifka. Like, there's 3 or 4 top rounds where there's good players. Like, just because there's not this freak at the top 5 doesn't mean that you couldn't trade down and get a player. Doesn't mean that through the draft process somebody's not going to show themselves and, hey, we'll wait and get that guy. Like, you pigeonhole yourself a lot into these positions that you want. And I was getting into this with a guy on Twitter today. He was like, you just take needs. We want to fill needs. And that's where everybody messes up, is that you have this list of needs, but you have this overall list of incredible football players that are super talented. You don't skip way down your list or even 10 slots down your list to fill outside linebacker because you decided way ahead of time that's what you quote unquote need right now. It's not I need this now. It's not Christmas time. I need this now. Now. It's what's going to be great long term in the draft. And that's why a lot of people miss it, is because they start looking at our current team and going, we need an outside linebacker. We need a defensive end. We already got enough safeties. Don't worry about that. We could use a receiver, but we kind of have enough. Like, if really good people at those positions present themselves that are much better than others, you take them. So when we're talking best case scenario, you need to open up your mind about like what the options are, as well as that there's a lot of good players at the top. And then also saying, yeah, Grifka, it does make a difference if you go from 5 to 3 or 5 to 2. That is important. Now, if you slide back, yeah, of course, we're not going to like, oh, now there's nobody. I mean, that's not going to be the scenario. But I'm telling you, since there's nothing to play for on the field other than, hey, Carrion came back, looked decent, or hey, Blau had an okay game. You're pretty much now rooting for these scenarios to happen in other ball games to help our long-term team success. And like, this is a big year. It's not too many times you go picking 8th and picking 4th or wherever we end up. Like, you better hope Hawkinson. Well, I better hope Hawkinson is a hell of a player where we took him. And if we get top 4, 5, even up to 3 or 2, we better hit a home run, because that's going to make or break our team for 5, 6 years, not some W against Denver where everyone's like, oh, we played great. Like, it's about a bigger picture right now. So there you go. There's your education for the day.
All I got to say is, how did you miss on the Veruca Salt reference when you already brought up Charlie and the Chocolate Factory once, man? You could have went like, but Daddy, I want to rush outside linebacker now. Okay, Veruca, darling. You could have done that. That would have been awesome. I want it now. That's so awesome.
I don't even, like, I think I've seen the movie once, but I don't know I know there's the fat kid. I forget his name, but all I focus on.
That's a Gustav's Bluff, man. Come on.
All I focus on is the lazy ass Uncle Joe or Grandpa Joe who wouldn't get out of bed and had a cane, and all of a sudden he got the golden ticket and he bounced out of bed, started dancing around, talking about, I got a golden ticket. It's like, you haven't done anything for 20 years, old man.
How could you forget about Mike TV? See, in the movie, I'm Mike TV. I said this once. I go, I'm Mike TV. And my sister's like, why? I'm like, my name's Mike. I watch a lot of TV. I'm Mike TV. Come on. Like,
oh, man. Grifka, hold on. I got a sound bit for that.
No. You don't like that call. I don't like that call. Not a very good call.
You get that for a couple reasons. One, it was kind of self-gloss. Two, it was terrible. I mean, hold on. I got Charles to help me with that.
12,
I mean,
man.
that was absolutely
terrible.
Last week.
Oh my goodness, Grifka. On that note, man, like I say, we talked about some stuff. We got your Christmas list. We had to whip through this Tampa Bay game where we got beat up by quite a few points, and then we had a half draft argument, which I'm sure there'll be more of those to come, as well as me helping you out understand the bigger picture. So, good show, fun show.
Daddy, I want to rush outside linebacker now.
Now that you got that in for a second time, Grifka, you got anything else for the people?
Nope.
Everybody, thank you so much. You can get at Grifka DKC on Twitter. You can find me at Derek Okrie, DEREK OKRIE. And always talking Lions, talking football, having fun. And we'll be back here on Friday talking all things Detroit Lions, getting ready for the game in Denver. Probably talking about possibly the return of Carry-On, and then lots of other fun things on the Friday show. So be sure to check us out. We thank you for your support. We'll check you then. Take care. We're out.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.